What is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, club swing traders? Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. Hope you guys are feeling good. Hope you guys had a good Halloween weekend as well. We got Albert in the house. Good morning to you. Good morning to Bill, Carla. Good morning to Corbin. Good morning to you. We got Edward in the house. Emily, Jared, Keith, Lauren, Lucian, Marius is gonna hang out. Good morning to all my people out in YouTube land. And let's take a look where we are at with the SPY this morning. I believe we traded up a little bit. Not bad. Little bit of a gap to go, staying above where we should have now 3 days in a row of valid support, at least volume, if we can stay above it. Looking to hold pretty much the same thing as we did on Friday, 683.33 for the lower side for support. And then we're going to be looking for 687.95 to the higher side of things. So we'll see if we can go up from here. Probably at open. Still inside day candle. So right now we're like looking at 684.84 looks like. What I would probably expect a little pullback first. Probably try to retest the 683.47 zone. But for today, not bad. Decent start to the week, and since it is a weekly candle, we should take a look at that one. What did we end up actually doing for the full last week? Well, we're opening above the entire last week's opening price, staying above the close. It was a red candle, but just inside last week for now, and we have some kind of indecision candle. So we'll see. That could be a warning point. Okay, volume, not the highest volume ever. Eh, the problem with that is we could probably stay in there for another. We could stay in there for the entire week. So we'll see. Let's take a look at the high end of that candle. I'm looking at looks like 689.70. If we could break out of that at some point, that would take us higher. The low end of last week's candle looks like I got this thing in the way. The low end of last week was 679.24. So if we do come down a little bit lower, that would be our pullback spot. So we'll see if we can break it all. Emily says inks a Amazon inks a $38 billion deal. Links maybe to OpenAI. Amazon's moving. AMZN. Yeah, good gap on Amazon. Also, continuation from their earnings, so they crushed their earnings as well. I'd probably not. That's all time highs, right? Yep, all time highs for Amazon. I'd probably let that one retest and fade back before jumping into that one. Let's take a look real quick at the Qs. Oh, inks equals signs. Okay. Yeah, I wasn't. I wasn't sure what that was. I thought maybe there was an L missing. I thought it was links. We got the Qs. Good little gap up on the Qs. Still inside last week's candles. So not bad on that one. Other than that, probably looking for a retest. Let's try to find some numbers as to where we could get that. And right at resistance. So watch out for 634.43. That's going to be our resistance. If we can get above it, we could be potentially looking for all-time highs. We do have a gap and go for today. We're outside of Friday's candle, so that's not bad. Let's see if we can find a little support somewhere around 631.89 if we get a pullback. Otherwise, that's a pretty fair gap and go. Just got that one resistance right in front of us. So let's get above 635.43 on the Qs, and then I think it might be able to run. Looks a little bit better than the SPY. Bitcoin doesn't look as good at all. Bitcoin kind of having a little bit of a rough day. Back below that 200. That's not great. Hanging into some support. So we got 107,740 at this point. We'll see if that could hold. If we break, we've got one more spot to the lower side, which we did hit already, 106,998. Seems like the bulls trying to survive on Bitcoin. We'll see if we get a good bounce on that one. Otherwise, one last final stop at this point for a potential bounce for the bulls to step in and finally get Bitcoin going would be 105,575. And right now we're off of those lows. We got down there almost three times, almost four times at this point. So Bull's not letting it completely slip, but below that 200, not an extreme positive for Bitcoin, GLD. Gold hanging in there for today, inside day candle, and a little bit of a gap and go. We just have to clear out. And I also have a pretty decent resistance somewhere around this 370, 370.23. So if gold could get above that, we might have a little breakout on gold today. But until that point, we got a little bit of resistance right in front of us. SLV. Silver also making the rounds. Good little gap up above support from Friday. I would throw support at probably about $44.13. And then looking for a little resistance somewhere around 44.35. So if we get above 44.35, that might break out as well. The high of Friday, we've already kind of retested that previous resistance, 44.52. Other than that, we got silver just kind of hanging out for today. And we'll see if at some point we get a little rampage TLT. TLT dropping. No real break on TLT. Got a little bit back here from September, so see if we can find some support. Looks like we're trying to open at one of them right now. That would take us to about 89.64. Below that, you got one more, and this is again older supports. Not gonna be as strong. You got 89.56, and then to the downside from there, you got about 89.25. Sleepy Joe Day, DJ. Sleepy Joe. Like Joe Biden? I don't know. I don't know. Took a big drawdown last week. Uh, you did, TJ? Let's take a look at MU, and then I got some tickers I missed too. Yeah, I'm traveling, so I got one computer mic today, and I got one screen, and yeah. Uh-huh. We got MU, good gap up, two all-time highs, almost. We were a little bit higher October 29th, otherwise we get a little bit of a pullback. Watch for 229.65. Yeah, I don't like the laptop mic. Laptop mic is awful. It's I like my three screens that I usually have, but it is what it is. We got 229.74 would be the pullback spot. I'd see if you get that pullback before we break out. Otherwise, the high of that candle, that's gonna take me into, yeah, I know. The high of that candle takes me to 232.40 for the higher side. We'll see where we open. Otherwise, that's gonna be a psychological resistance. Nothing really stopping MU. Where's the next earnings? We got plenty of time till earnings, and that's gonna come in not till December 17th, so we'll see. I'd be more bullish than bearish. I'm gonna move that one a little bit higher on my list. I'd be okay playing it bullish. Would love to see a high wave candle, hammer, something like that. We'll see what happens. Let's see. I think that there was also a hood in here. There we go. Palantir, I believe, is going to report earnings, so be careful trading Palantir. I think they come out today. Yep, today after the bell at all-time highs. Gapping up into all-time highs. Also retest gap. I This should be a retest. With earnings today in just a few hours, I'm probably not going to day trade this one. It could get a little strange. This should be a retest into 201.36 for a day trade. If it does pull into there, that's where I'd probably look to trade it. If anything else happens, I am absolutely chasing this one. There's a lot of people profitable going into earnings that does not have to sit through earnings if they bought Palantir anywhere else. Give me that support, and then we'll see if that support holds. If it does, okay, it's an interesting spot for a day trade. Otherwise, it's going to do its own thing today, I think. So be careful on any trades for Palantir. If you have any shares, if you want to sell some calls against it, probably a decent time. It's pricey on the valuation. I think even if we get a beat, it might still have a little bit of a potential pullback. We'll see what happens tomorrow on Palantir, but be careful of that one today. Or if you have shares, make sure that you are either okay holding, or you have some kind of covered calls or option plays or however you're going to handle it. But just make sure you guys know earnings are today. Hood, not too far away from earnings as well. We got a few days on this one. That's going to take us into November 5th. We'll see what happens on that. Other than that, decent open. Not bad. Small pullback, maybe. Don't want to see too big of a one. Want to stay above 148, specifically 148.03, and then target to this one 149.91. I saw not that they moved together, but Palantir was also not Palantir. PayPal was also kind of moving a little bit pre-market as well. Again, a little bit different, but if we could get back up to this 149.85, we were there already on Friday. Maybe a little bit more likely we could break it today, and possibly possibly decent for a day trade for today. Small again, high wave on that would be fantastic. Stay above 148 though, and we'll see where we go from there. We got Coinbase is chilling again. Bitcoin not looking too great. We probably could set up the same trade that we took. So on Friday we got in at 338.33. That is still our support. Slightly lower actually. Let's see, we go somewhere around 337.61. I think that stop that we put in from Friday, I think that still should be a spot that holds. We start breaking Friday's candle. There's nothing really stopping us or stopping Coinbase from hitting 329, somewhere in that zone. So I like that stop. I think the risk reward is still actually there from Friday. I think that same trade works. We have resistance on Coinbase from Friday at 348.52. So a lot better risk reward bullish. We're just kind of opening in no man's land for the moment. So I would like to see a pullback first. Otherwise, wouldn't mind taking a very similar trade, maybe a little bit lower on that entry that we came in on Friday. Otherwise, I'm looking at Friday's low as some kind of a stop. But yeah, I'm not opposed to taking Coinbase again for today. Almost very similar trade to what we did on Friday. We'll take a look again at Amazon, AMZN. Amazon is getting that fantastic gap and go. We've already had earnings, so we don't have to deal with that. And we're just sitting at all-time highs. Again, good gap up. Even though Friday's candle was red, it opened higher than at all-time highs. It closed at, I believe, all-time highs as well. We're very close to it. Yep, all-time highs. So a little bit of a, even though it's a red candle, I think we have a little bit of a retrace. I don't want to go long here if it pulls back, specifically to maybe first spot to look at where we kind of open 250.10. Otherwise, I actually have real support somewhere sitting at 246.52. So we'll see what happens on that one. But if you're holding Amazon, looks good so far this morning with that deal. MDB, they inked slash linked a deal. Mongo database. We got some time for earnings. Looking at December 15th. Uh New CEO. All right. Pretty comfortable playing this one. The only thing for day trades is be careful of spreads for Mongo database. They have wild spreads. Otherwise, new CEO is typically one of my favorite trades. Go higher. Trading view. Come on. Usually, uh, there is no bigger sell the news event than new CEO that comes in. Usually, you get that big gap up, positive news, people are excited, and I think that's a pretty good fade. So I would look to go short on Mongo database. Probably look to take some kind of pre-market breakdown. Yeah, I like that one. I like that one for a fade. Only thing is the entire market looks like it is probably bullish. YouTube. Let's see. To understand the candle, move to 2-day candle. I don't do the 2-day candle. It's a good point. I don't do a 2-day candle. I'd look at the daily. one candle, and then also the weekly, especially on a Monday. So anything gapping up, and again, Amazon looks like maybe one of the few that is kind of gapping outside of last week, but that is a strong week from Amazon. So I would take a look at maybe a retest fade on Amazon as well. Tesla, weekly candle, good closing spot. We got a couple psychological spots on Tesla, but the weekly gives me a little bit more time than 2 days. But I think generally you are correct. If you're going out the further you go out, the better. So 2 days is obviously going to be stronger data than just one day. Same way that one day is going to be stronger than 15 minutes as well. Tesla though, good closing week. We're hanging out inside candle right at the higher end of where we closed. And then let's see if we go they're actually gapping down a little bit from Friday. Right into support. We'll see if this one holds. Look for 454.61. We'll see if that one wants to hold and we can get some bids off of it. AMD is another one. Watch out for that one. We do have earnings coming out tomorrow after the bell. Very possible. I don't know. Nvidia's kind of surprised me a few times. I wouldn't be going long on AMD into the earnings into all-time highs. I think this one probably bought up. At this point, also options probably a little bit expensive if you're trying to sell some puts or sell some covered calls. If you're selling covered calls, you probably get some good premium. This one might be a little bit crowded. I don't know. I think there's a lot of people bullish in AMD where it almost does not matter what their earnings look like. That one, I think, probably better risk reward to the downside than to play that one bullish. You got ALB. ALB is hanging out into a little bit of resistance, slightly below it. You got 98.54 into ALB. Let me know if you guys got other tickers as well. We still got lots of time. You guys are quiet today on some of the tickers. We just have it an inside day week. It sounds like we got SMCI. That one actually looks really good. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Let's see if we can stay above 52.78 for SMCI. Next target, still inside day from Friday, so nothing too crazy. But I do like that support if we could open there. And then yeah, I got my next target at 53.49. If we could take that out, then you have a decent amount of room. 54.78 for SMCI. I kind of like that location. We'll see what that one opens. I'd be okay with that. So far, coin to me is the best setup I've seen. And then Mongo database. If I want to fade something, I think that would be number two. SMCI not too bad. Shopify. Uh, Shopify, a little bit of a gap and go for today. Still inside day candle, nothing too crazy. Got your resistance somewhere around 175.51. I think if you could break that 175.51, that gives you a decent amount of room to 178.64. But I think I'd see if there's a little bit of a pullback first. Meta, which had an absolute trash week after earnings, uh, that is not a good close for Meta. We did close below the earnings candle, which was a high wave indecision. So for today, decent little bounce. At least we're above that previous support. I think your range for today on Meta, which could be a decent one, support somewhere around 651.16, and then you got to the higher side, about 667.54. Not a fantastic close. I think the higher you go on this one, the more likely this thing comes in for a short. But too low to short. If this thing does get bid up, maybe later in the day, into that 667.75, I think there's going to be probably a decent amount of bears coming in after that Friday close, breaking that high wave candle from earnings. So we'll see what happens on that one. Nvidia, we got Dell as well. Nvidia's got a good gap up, good gap and go, right above opening price from Friday. one tiny little resistance on this one. 207.41. You might have excitement from some earnings coming in from SMCI and AMD in the next couple days. So chips might be decent for today until we actually get some of those earning reports that come out. But not bad. 207.41. If we take that out, we're probably looking at the highs, probably all-time highs again, which came in on Wednesday, October 29th. And not really much holding it back. Decent looking gap for Nvidia. Dell, I'd be so annoyed with Dell with that good looking hammer that came in. I'd probably have an order set for like 163.39, and they're taking all of that out today, so I wouldn't even be getting filled on that one. Yeah, really nice gap though. Is this all time highs too? Nope. We got some room on this one. Support from Friday. I don't want to see it get down there. That's going to take me into 161.78. Two other levels of support, 162.70. If it gets down there, that's a really good buy spot. I don't think it gets there. This one, maybe. Maybe this one runs into here, 164.40. But I prefer probably hanging out. Pull back. I do want to pull back. It's got to be to 166.01. That's where I'm going to look for my support. I think that one can break. I don't want to see it break, but the closer I get to that 166, I like it a lot. So we'll see if there's a little pullback. Otherwise, fantastic looking gap and go. If this opens and just runs without me, it runs without me. Otherwise, I'm looking for 166.01 for some kind of pullback. We got Boeing. Below your 200. Friday almost came into the resistance from Thursday. Not quite, but this has been a rough 2 days. That's off of Boeing's earnings. So from Boeing's earnings, absolutely wrecking it. This is our fourth red day in a row. For today, a little bit of a gap up, but we're just not above. I got I got resistance from Thursday, which we have not retested yet. Somewhere around 203.23. Watch that one. I don't know how many bulls are excited on this. And then you got your 200, which is going to be a monster. So two levels of really, really good resistance above you. I would almost I'd probably be leaning a little bit more short, and this is down a lot, so I'm not going to take the short until we probably break here. Other than that, I think there's some bulls trapped here. I think some bulls got trapped here. I think this is going to be a tough one to get through, at least until we're past that 200. So get me out of that 200, and then you start building in some decent actual retest spots, maybe back to like 214, something like that. What I would like before I'm going to go buy it is give me some chop, get up there, reject that 200 once or twice, and then if I want to go bullish on it, that's where I'll take it. Otherwise, I think there's going to be a lot of people. I think Boeing's looking kind of rough, and I'm trying to put that nicely. I think Boeing is looking a little bit to the rough side. I'd be not super excited to buy Boeing yet. Baba, 1, 2, 3 down days in a row. We got five red candles in a row. The rest of the market looks decent, and Baba not really wants to participate. Not yet. Next support on this one probably takes us back to 165.87. Let's also check out Baidu. Baidu looks almost exactly the same as Baba at the moment. A little bit better of a gap though on Baidu than obviously Baba's looking at open. That being said, we got resistance somewhere around 122.24. We'll see if that holds at all. Otherwise, support 121.16. So China seems a little bit rougher, uh, at least for Baba, and then Baidu seems like it's just gonna hang out for today. Nothing too crazy. JD gapping down 3 pennies. The gap down not so crazy. What's more important, I think, is that it is inside day. You have your resistance right around 33.07. So China does look a little bit to the weak side. Let's take a look at SoFi. SoFi is strangely, I kind of like SoFi a lot. Uh, that's a good gap on SoFi. Still inside day from Friday, so be careful. Probably a little pullback at open. I like SoFi if we pull back at open to 29.60. I've got one other resistance on this one that will take me to $30.01. Otherwise, anything past that, I think your next target or resistance to the higher side gives you about $30.98. We'll see if any of that holds for that one. Um, but that's a good location for that gap up at least. DraftKings also has earnings very, very soon. Thursday, a little bit of well, actually, I was still to the lower end. Otherwise, we had your high wave candle somewhere around Tuesday, October 28th, two inside day candles, so two little bit of rest. Nice little, almost still inside day, but bullish engulfing candle. We'll see if this one can hang out in the zone, hang out primarily in this candle. I think if you're trying to trade DraftKings, watch for 31, 32. Otherwise, none of that really matters at all when earnings come out, which is this Thursday. So big week still in earnings. Big, big week. PayPal was moving a little bit pre-market. Good location. Also, would like to see a pullback on this one at open. That closed right into a resistance. This little bit of a gap up pushes us above it. Let's now see if that becomes support. That's 69.29 for some kind of support on this one. And I'm torn on a day trade. We could probably trade this one. The actual real target is 71.05. Otherwise, looking for maybe a few other spots of resistance. But if that one gets a pullback, yeah, that would be my $71 and I'll go with 8 cents if it wants to look a little strong, which maybe if we could get above the opening price from Thursday, we're not quite there yet. Maybe that would give us enough to get through those two spots. 70.41 would be your first target, second target 70.79, and then I think you can reach 71.05 for that one. Nvidia moving up nicely, or nice opening if we stay there. Yeah, Nvidia did look good as well. Actually, Nvidia looked kind of really nice. Still, the we'll see with it if Nvidia can open up a tad better than where we're at now by like a penny or two. You got the high of Friday's candle, 207.97. We're okay. We're decent. Give me a 208 open. Right where we're at now looks good to me. And then where we actually open on Wednesday, we get above that. That looks even better. Uh, Opening price was 207.98. Good location. Nice gap and go. Probably trapping some bears. It's still Nvidia at all-time highs, so I don't see too many bears being trapped, but to me, looks decent. That is the morning bell. So everybody in YouTube land, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button if you're not done so already. Other than that, you guys are awesome. And I'll catch you guys next Monday. Later, guys.